Time to pull up a chair. We've got another great story for you today in the rLounge. Should you let your family's hurtful comments slide for the sake of tradition, or do you cut ties for the sake of the woman you love? Today in the rLounge, no one's getting away with it. Brother called my fiance a slut, and parents laughed. I publicly exposed and banned them from my wedding. I, 31 male, have been dating my girl, Tracy, 32 female, for over 3 years, and now we're ready to exchange our vows in a month. Everything was going on smooth until a few days back. I overheard my brother cursing my fiance, and you know the worst part? My parents giggled as if it was some kind of funny. I was always aware that my parents didn't think so highly of Tracy, but never realized that the hatred was so deep. Things have been complicated with them ever since I introduced her to the family. My parents, especially my mom, had always been traditional and uptight. They have a right idea of what a perfect daughter-in-law should be: quiet, modest, and always eager to please. Tracy, on the other hand, is bold, passionate, and independent. She didn't fit their mold, and they weren't pleased about it. My parents' outdated belief is one thing, but my brother joining them in this is so hypocritic. He's 35, but has no real job and 0 long-term relationships. Who would want to be with a chauvinist? He spends his evenings picking women at the bar, and he talks about decency. What a jerk. I wish I had broken his bone that day. I'm fuming whenever I remember these words, and by the way, he smirked and everyone laughed. Anyway, so Tracy works in marketing, and as a passion, she pursues belly dance. She's associated with a dance school that conducts summer workshops for high school students and young women. In fact, that's how we met. I'm an event manager, and back then I was organizing these workshops for her dance school. We hit it off at one of the events, and since then, there's been no looking back. Behind the confident, bold girl, there's a kind and humble woman. The first time I took her to meet my parents, it was polite, but there was discomfort. My mom made passive-aggressive comments about Tracy's outfits, like, "Don't you get cold in that?" Or, "I wish I had the confidence to dress like that." Tracy is the first girl I introduced to my family, so I don't know if their judgment is particular to her or in general they are hypocrites. I chalked it up to them needing time to adjust, but over the months it became clear they weren't trying to get to know Tracy. They were judging her. Ryan, my older brother, wasn't any better. He had this smug, condescending attitude that grated on my nerves. He asked the most stupid question one could ever think of. He goes, "So, do you ever perform at bars? Must be a hit with the drunks." It was offensive, but Tracy brushed it off as ignorance. She said she's used to such insensitive comments because people look at this dance form differently. It was graceful of her to be understanding, but I couldn't let this slide. Since then, I distanced myself from my family. Apart from occasional texts, I mostly no contact with them. I wasn't aware of the fact that people are so judgmental towards a dance. She told me she got ghosted by men as soon as they got to know about her passion. She even got rejected in her marketing interviews, which has no relation to her dancing. Last year, when I proposed to Tracy, I put up a story and my parents reached out congratulating me and wanting to be a part of the wedding. Mom didn't look pleased. She had this look of, "She of all the girls?" But Dad assured me that eventually she would come along, and she did. She stopped commenting on her clothes and her lifestyle. I thought finally my mom is progressing. Boy, was I wrong. She was only putting up an act. They used to invite us for lunch and dinner now and then, but we try to remain distant. Tracy and I somehow didn't get a good vibe despite all her effort, and now I know the reason why. Sunday was my uncle's 65th birthday, and his wife and children threw a big bash. I was closest to him growing up. He and his wife were my godparents, and they've always lived up to that role. I couldn't miss it. He loved me and Tracy more than my parents did. It was supposed to be a joyous occasion. He and Aunt are genuinely interested to know about our life updates. They're always marveling at her talent and dedication. Some of the cousins also got excited and curious to see Tracy's dance moves. She pulled out the video and showed it to them. Aunt then requested Tracy to perform some of the steps. She was initially reluctant, but then I encouraged her, and she agreed with her usual grace. "If everyone's okay with it, I'd love to." It was a brief but stunning performance. Tracy moved with such elegance and passion that even the most stoic family members clapped enthusiastically. Then, as I stepped away to grab a drink, I heard. Ryan snickered under his breath with a smirk. "What a slut." I froze. The words were like a slap to my face. Before I could react, I heard my mom laugh. My dad chuckled too, as if it were some hilarious inside joke. I was standing right past them, behind the fridge. Maybe the fridge's door was open, and that's why they didn't notice me. I don't know. I immediately intervened, saying, "What's wrong with you guys? What was that?" They flustered like they were caught in the act. Mom was quick to respond, saying what happened. She behaved as if I was asking something unreasonable. I said I heard everything. Ryan and Dad froze, but Mom continued to fight and prove me wrong. She was like, "What did you hear? We didn't say anything." Their denial made me furious, and I yelled, "I heard every freaking word, so stop pretending and take accountability." Dad jumped in to say I shouldn't ruin Uncle Fred's birthday, and that whatever misunderstanding we had, we can clear it off later. I realized it was not a good idea to address the situation right there. It would have embarrassed Tracy in front of everyone, and plus, I didn't want to ruin things for my godparents. So I just walked out from there in disgust. I remained silent for the rest of the evening. I even pushed off early, citing a headache. Ryan and my parents behaved as if nothing happened. After leaving the party, Tracy asked if everything was fine because it was just after her performance that my attitude changed. She was worried if it had something to do with her dance. I assured her she wasn't the reason. That night, I lay awake, replaying the scene in my head. How could they be so cruel? And worse, how could they laugh at something so vile? The next morning, I drove to my parents' house. I wasn't sure what I was going to say, but I knew I couldn't let this slide. I just stormed into the house saying, "Why did you laugh at Ryan's comment last night?" My mom acted startled. "What are you talking about?" I snapped at her. "Don't play dumb. He called Tracy a slut and you laughed. Why?" She took a deep breath, rolled her eyes, and sat on the couch passing looks to Dad. Dad sighed and was annoyed at my digging and then said, "Okay, it was a joke. Didn't mean to hurt anyone. Don't be so sensitive." I lost it, like completely screaming, "A joke? Calling my fiance a slut is a joke to you?" The next few minutes was me just ranting at them for their disrespect and disgusting behavior, and they occasionally switching between remaining silent, making faces, and trying to calm me down. Then finally, Mom spoke up, rolling her eyes. "Look, she's always wearing those revealing outfits, flaunting herself. What did you expect people to think? Why does she always have to show her waist or back, or the front?" I was stunned. I agree, Tracy likes to wear deep necks and all, but that's her choice. It doesn't mean she deserves less respect. I was staring at my mom in disbelief when she said, "Oh, come on, she's not even that pretty." Really? Is that what you think about my future wife? That she's ugly and attention seeks? I felt disgusted at her casual insult and said, "If this is how you feel about Tracy, then maybe you don't deserve to be part of our life." I raced out of the house and my dad screams at me asking, "What do you mean? Are you saying cutting us off?" I said, "Yes, I'm cutting them off and don't bother attending my wedding. Save yourself from seeing us." Mom asked me to come back and have a mature talk, but I was done talking to them. I said I don't want to have anything to do with them. That night, Mom sent me a long text that I was making a blunder by cutting off my family for my fiance. She indirectly pointed out that half of marriages these days end in divorce, hence losing a permanent family, for a temporary one, Tracy, is not worth it. These words felt like a salt rub. She's doubling down on uncertainty. But does this mean I should let them insult my fiance and put up with their nonsense? That's also wrong, right? Your mom's comments about Tracy's appearance and the way she's choosing to express herself are unfair and rooted in outdated, narrow thinking. You don't have to let them continue treating her or you this way, especially when you've made it clear how much she means to you, OP. Update 1. You guys are right. As her partner, I should protect her irrespective of what happens in the future, and that's what I did. The challenge was I officially wanted to cut off my family. I'd go tell Tracy what was happening, and I didn't want to hurt her in this period when she was the happiest, preparing for the wedding. How could I let her know that the people who were supposed to welcome her into the family thought so little of her? I was still contemplating how to go about it when my brother decided to add more drama to this. He randomly showed up at the gym and said he wanted to talk. I didn't want to, but I had to step aside and listen. He tried to defend himself that it was not meant to insult her or hurt her. It was just a joke, said in a lighter way, and maybe it came off in a wrong way, and I was taking it too seriously. I said calling your family member a slut can never be justified, not in the world I live. So he better take accountability for his words or just back off. He said I was blowing it out of proportion. It was a very silly stuff. I said I'm not here listening to your stupid theory. You think it's fine to demean a woman because of her clothes or her hobby or profession. Then I vote to cut off such chauvinists from my life. That's it. I refuse to further indulge in any conversation. When I got home, I was raging with anger. Tracy immediately sensed something was wrong. This time I didn't mean to hide it. I told her what was happening since Uncle Fred's birthday. A censored version. I left out the cruelest parts, but even the watered-down version was enough to bring tears to her eyes. She was aghast and speechless. She broke down, saying, "Why do they hate her so much?" I hugged her and tried to calm her down, saying they didn't hate her, but even as I said it, I knew it wasn't true. We both knew my family hated her. I told her I had to cut off all contact from my parents and Ryan. She was sobbing for a long time and was upset. I asked her if I could do anything to make her feel better, but she nodded nothing. Then I officially uninvited my parents and Ryan. Sent them an email with the reason. Over the next few days, endless drama unfolded. Ryan texted me saying, "Dude, now you're overreacting." Mom sent me a long message about how I was being manipulated by Tracy and letting her tear the family apart. Then Dad called me saying he can't let the family be divided and we had to work together to find a middle ground. Apparently he was worried about saving his face in front of his family and friends. It's a big thing for my parents to be uninvited to their son's wedding. He tried to negotiate, asking, "If Ryan apologizes, can we just move past this?" I said no amount of apology is going to have them back in my life because I know he's not genuinely sorry. An apology without remorse means nothing, does it? Despite my answer, he persisted that I should accept his apology and end the matter. I got so annoyed by his nagging that I said, "If you really want us to forgive, then why only Ryan? All three of you should apologize to her. You guys were also part of the insult because you laughed at the remark and enjoyed it. You also owe her an apology." He lost his temper and called me a simp and said, "You're gonna pay a heavy price for being her puppy. She's brainwashing you and you're letting her control you." That was the final straw. I said maybe she is, or maybe she's not, but I don't care. All I know is Ryan insulted her and you both supported him, and I cannot let this slide. It was quiet for a while. Then yesterday, Ryan sent Tracy a text. "Sorry for crossing the line." That was it. Is this the kind of apology you seek when you're remorseful? It was a mere formality. My parents were nuts after saying that. Now what? Ryan has apologized. Be a bigger person and move on. They wanted me to forget everything as if nothing happened and pretend to be a part of a happy family. I said, "Sorry, I'm not into this BS and my decision remains unchanged." They made my life miserable with endless texts and calls, wanting to be a part of the wedding. It's dang so frustrating. Seeing this mess, Tracy came to me and said, "If you want to invite your parents to the wedding, you can. They can attend as a guest, or maybe we can put them in the last row or something." I would have agreed to her plan if I didn't know my parents. They wouldn't just attend the wedding and remain in the place they're allotted. No, they'll overstep and meddle in everything possible and throw weight. And this would infuriate me, and I don't want to have a foul mood on my wedding day. Her willingness to compromise only made me more resolute, and I've told her I've made up my mind and I'm not going to have them back in my wedding or in my life. I hope the drama ends here. The wedding is in 2 weeks. I'm looking forward to enjoying this phase and having the best of it. I hope our wedding day turns out to be the best day of our life. I only wish so. It sounds like your brother's apology was just an attempt to sweep everything under the rug and avoid accountability. Not only that, but your parents' insistence on brushing everything under the rug for the sake of their own pride shows how much more they're concerned with saving face than actually addressing their wrongdoings. You're right to trust your gut here. Your parents wouldn't just be guests at your wedding, they'd make it about them, and that's the last thing you need on your special day. Update 2. I'm married and our special day turned out to be way more beautiful than I thought. It was everything we dreamed of. Tracy was radiant, her happiness infectious, and I can't get enough of her, can I? Of course, Ryan didn't care about being cut off from the wedding, but my parents weren't thrilled. They went to every nook and corner to badmouth us and label Tracy as manipulative and attention seeker. According to them, Tracy didn't want them in the wedding, hence she brainwashed me against them. As if I'm some 6-year-old toddler. I was kind of expecting this from my parents, but when Ryan joined their rally, painting himself as the victim and saying I had destroyed the family over that woman, I lost my crap. I was like, everyone deserves to know the complete truth. So I went to Facebook and wrote a detailed post about what had happened in the last 1 month. Ryan's derogatory comment, my parents defending him, and their hypocrisy and toxicity. I made 2 separate posts, one open and another in the family group. The post in the closed group contained more details, similar to this one. I even tagged Ryan on the open posts for his friends and acquaintances to see what a whole lot of crap he is. The post went viral within our extended family. Who doesn't like family drama? Everyone, right? My parents blew my phone asking me to delete the post ASAP. I said, "Why are you guys scared? Let everyone know both sides of the story and then decide whose party they want to join." Dad screamed at me for tarnishing their reputation and said it wasn't an open battle or some sort of competition that I was putting up the details in public. I said they started this game of campaigning against me. I'm just completing their one-sided story. If they're so worried about their reputation, they shouldn't have opened their dirty laundry in public. Obviously, they didn't own up to it. Instead, they went about urging everyone to boycott my wedding. People are not dumb. After reading my post, it became clear to everyone why I did what I did. I think posting it publicly was by far the best decision I'd taken. It saved me from answering a lot of questions at my wedding. I had to talk to Tracy's parents separately and make them understand about my family's absence, but apart from them, others, like my extended family and relatives, didn't bother me with the same questions. In fact, the tables turned and they came lauding me for my stand. My parents tried to involve my godparents in this. They tried to manipulate them into not showing up for my wedding, but Uncle Fred gave them the hearings of their life. And since then, my parents have turned their backs on them. The funny part is, now my parents are saying that my godparents and Tracy have ganged up against them and manipulated me to cut them off. I could only laugh at these speculations. During the wedding lunch, Uncle Fred raised a toast to me saying, "I'm so proud of you for showing your backbone and standing up for your girl. It takes a lot of courage." It made me tear up. His words meant everything to me. Even Tracy's parents thanked me for taking a stand and protecting her dignity. They said, "You've already proved to be a wonderful husband and protected our daughter." See, I told you it was the best day of my life. It's been a week since the wedding, and I found peace in my decision. Tracy and I are feeling blessed, surrounded by people who genuinely love and support us. As for my family, they remain bitter. Family isn't about blood, it's about love, respect, and standing up for the people who matter most, and Tracy's worth every ounce of it. Update 3. I thought this was over. Looks like it's not. My Facebook post caused more damage than I intended. It cost Ryan his reputation with his friends and also at work. I wasn't aware of this until recently when Ryan came to my door, drunk, screaming, and calling me names for screwing his life. After that post, his friends started distancing from him. Who wants to hang out with a chauvinist? I wonder how they never saw this side of him. Maybe Ryan is too good at pretending in front of them. Then, gradually, his colleagues started giving cold shoulders at work, especially females. Initially, he didn't understand why, but then he suddenly became the subject of the inside jokes. He claimed he was so badly humiliated and bullied that he ultimately had to quit the place. I don't know if it was that extreme or if he was making it up to gain sympathy and some extra bucks from parents. When I was posting that stuff, my intention was only to lay out the truth. I remember he didn't untag himself for days. He threw an attitude for not giving an F. He thought no one would believe it. Oh yes, and he even commented, "Woman showing off her belly button all the time is taking offense, huh?" He later deleted that comment after getting a backlash. So basically he dug his own grave. I said, "You deserve every bit of disgrace you're getting. It should have been more." After that, I got to know from cousins that my parents are slipping this information in between the conversation about cutting me off from their will. Well, joke's on them if they think I would crawl back to them on hearing this. I hardly care about this. I already know they're busy funding Ryan's life because he hardly even has a stable job. So after their retirement and everything, they would barely have anything left to spare to me. Instead of accepting their mistakes, they're playing mind games to have me back in their life. Little do they know, I have moved on from them long ago. I don't want a family just for the sake of it. It's refreshing that you're not allowing their guilt trips, like trying to manipulate you with their will to pull you back into their orbit, OP. They want you to feel like you need them, but you've already realized that a real family is about respect, love, and trust. You've made your choice, and it's a powerful one. Tracy's worth it, and so are you. Have you ever experienced a similar situation? Share it with us in the comments below. And thank you for joining us today in the rLounge. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. Until next time. And please put your chair back where you found it.